9:45, consider 9:45 around, because 9:50 is their end time. So consider 9:40 or 45 as your end time for the session, so we can have couple of questions also to be answered. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Chal.
Right. So, brief look at the agenda. Difference between sales and marketing, various e-commerce models, limitations and opportunities in e-commerce, transforming traditional business to online platforms, methods and models of sales and marketing for product and services. So this is a brief, um, estimate done by this Red Seer consulting firm based out of Bangalore, which says that India's e-commerce industry, even though dominated by Flipkart and Amazon at a staggering $100 billion, but there is a much larger unorganized retail industry which is pegged at around $700 billion. So the part which is unorganized, untapped, is 7 times larger, and this provides a massive room for expansion and opportunities for experimentation. So e-commerce, electronic commerce, is commerce that is carried out using an electronic medium without explicitly depending on change of money hand to hand. Even though cash on delivery is an accepted mode of payment, not all goods are delivered nowadays as cash on delivery. A lot of goods are sold only after full payment done electronically. So then, you must be able to open your mindset and think beyond physical goods, electronic goods, games, or even e-learning content. So this slide is showing the staggering increase in 2021 and the expectations for 2022 for the electronic, for the educational industry, which is being, it's almost tripling and even more than that. So yeah, from 504 billion rupees, that is $8.13 billion, it is going to go all the way much higher. So getting into sales versus marketing. Now there is an overlap. Marketing and sales will certainly have an overlap. Marketing will find who are the suspects or convert them into prospects or leads, and then sales will tap them, and after having a transaction they become the opportunities for your enterprise. And finally you keep track of your customers and keep sending them your updated emails and further offerings, and probably they will buy again next Diwali or next festive season, whatever it may be. So the difference between sales and marketing is that sales focuses on working directly with prospects to get them to convert, while marketing focuses on sparking interest in your products. Essentially, marketing is the first step to getting leads interested, while sales takes that interest and nurture it. So either case, you need to look at pain, pleasure, and will the customer's aspirations be met? Will it make the customer feel good? These are some of the elements that both the marketing materials that you float around in social media or on other platforms need to address these three aspects. What is in it for me? Either somebody will buy to alleviate pain or to seek out some sort of pleasure. Think of the latest Cadbury Magnum ads. There is a kind of luxurious pleasure to having that Cadbury Magnum, which is shown all around on social media nowadays. And will it make me look good? Okay, so buying a Mercedes or a car, there's definitely that feel good and look good factor involved. So why do people buy? People buy when something hurts or when they want to feel good at the most basic level. It is important to understand that most people buy for one of two reasons. They buy to move closer to pleasure or to move further away from pain. And then the reason is justified. So at the end, there is an emotion attached to each purchase. Now, there's a lot of rejections in sales. So there's a, critical need for the salesman. Even if you are doing the sales electronically, you still need to have some psychology to back you up when you keep seeing the rejections or even no returns or no replies. Yeah, so one of the ingredients for your sales success is like positive thinking, belief that what you're offering is good for your customers. Focus on actions. Okay, my current marketing campaign is having a poor turnout. What other communication anchors can I change? Habits. So how do I understand the current customer habits and am I able to alter them? Ability to build empathy. Design thinking has emphasized a lot on empathy, and it is certainly crucial for both your marketing and sales. Questions. Ability to listen and be naturally inquisitive. Okay, what next? How to better serve the customer? Some questions like this need to keep on going on in the head and the team so that the product ends up in the customer's hands. Problem solving skills, patience and resilience, self awareness and emotional intelligence. Sales planning. So what are you selling? Is it a physical product? If it is, then how heavy is it, and what are the what are the logistic costs attached to the transport of that good? Services. If it is services, then is it like somebody has to go home and do the service on your behalf for the customer? Is it like urban company, or is it like a software as a service which can be automated, which can be consumed by the end customer just using their smart device? Pricing strategy. Yeah, how unique is the offering such that you can demand or command a premium in the market? Value proposition, competitive advantages, resources that make sure that it's hard for people to copy your offering. Team, tools. These are some of the ingredients that go into making your sales happen. And then you have to look at the other ingredient. This is the internal part, and then towards the external part, like to whom, what is the geography you're targeting, and sectors, what is the size of the company, who are the decision makers. So are you selling to children or are you selling to parents of children? That's the point. Who makes the decision? For an online coaching business, the consumer is children or students, and the financiers are often the parents. So there are multiple decision makers involved. So are you selling to a plant and machinery setup, and are you selling to influencers? If you're selling to influencers who can get you 100 new customers, then would you consider giving them a steeper discount or other financing options? So marketing, email, website and social. If you're going to be doing marketing only via these remote and email methods, then have you figured out your ideal customer profile or the persona of the buyers? Prospecting, action plan, goals, tactics. So these are some of the 7 main stages in a sales pipeline. Prospecting, looking for like, is this guy a buyer or is this girl a buyer or not? Okay, lead qualification. Yeah, sure, they have the means, the time and the hunger. Need analysis. So need analysis can be further clubbed into a demo or a meeting where you further narrow down out of your 7 offerings, 12 offerings, whatever you're offering, which 2 or 3 or 4 offerings are most relevant to your prospect, qualified lead. So a proposal is when you're reaching out to a larger enterprise, and you start negotiating in the later stage. Then there is opportunity 1, and then there's post purchase. Now each stage can be further divided. So need analysis, or can the demo or meeting there could be need analysis, value proposition, and then perception analysis. So whether you want to dig down deeper or not will be given by the amount of average order value. Okay, if you're offering a very small like 100 or 500 rupee offering, and you know that it is more or less easier for the emotions to override the decision making, and you don't have to have a lengthy negotiation compared to a 5 lakh or 10 lakh rupee offering. That's the point. The more the offering, the more you want to get into the details, the nuances, the objections that can come up during the sales, and start proactively addressing them. So a lot of things go into sales, and there's an entire suite of softwares that enable sales nowadays. Yeah, Excel is definitely the age-old one, but it is not as advanced as something like your Salesforce or your other solutions. So these are some of the other names. Like Zoho has a huge suite of offerings. Zoho is a unicorn out of India, out of Chennai, that is competing at a global level. Then there's Adobe offerings, Oracle offerings. SAP is a big name in the enterprise resource planning industry. Microsoft Dynamics, Zendesk, HubSpot. So if you want to give a very targeted, customized message, you need to have the receiver's name to so and so. Nowadays most emails will have that kind of customization, otherwise spam filters are most likely to send your promotional email to the spam box. So you need to have these kind of entry fields. These are the uh, data fields that will give you access to customers attention. Once you are in your customer's mind, then the transaction becomes more likely. And then based on these various opportunity fields, for example, what stage is the customer at, can we, without giving a discount, if we add a few digital bonuses or partnerships with other partners, can we move the client further into the sales? Okay, is this a repeat buy? And so on and so forth. Each of these stages can trigger different actions, and each triggered action need not even be done manually. Some actions can be automatic. For example, if you have the date of birth field, then you don't have to sit and manually send a birthday greetings. It could be automated, followed by a few noticeable or noteworthy additions to your e-commerce store beneath the birthday greeting, so that if they are attracted to those cakes or other goodies and they might feel like splurging on themselves, then they can go ahead and buy that. So questions on pain, pleasure and risk. Yeah, listening and questioning. Sales success is directly proportional to the number of questions asked by the salesman or woman. The three most important parts of the sales process are your ability to ask the right questions at the right time and the ability to listen. So if you want to listen, you have to be quiet and let the other person speak. You would be surprised in the enthusiasm to make that sale. So many salesmen just don't listen. So questions on opportunity qualification, other open questions that can help you. So what do you guys understand by open questions? Do you have any examples of open questions? You can answer now.
May I?
Yeah, please,
Yes,
please. Yeah, please, please.
Open book means it's type of open question means this type of open question means anybody can share their own point of view and it will not be considered as wrong as it is their point of view.
Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah. Anybody else would like to try? All right. So open in this context compared to closed ended. So closed ended means you are asking a yes or no question, a question whose response is yes or no. Did you vote? Did you brush your teeth? So most of the did you questions are tentatively closed ended. Open question is, how was your trip to Chennai? Or how was your experience in the last IPL match? These are open ended questions. People can give their inputs more. That is the difference that I wanted to bring forth. But yes, what the student earlier said, you can share your opinion, that is there. You actually want the customers to share their opinions. So in that sense, his answer is not wrong also. So here's a brief difference between selling and marketing. So the emphasis in selling is on your offering, on the product, whereas in marketing it is on the consumer needs and wants approach. Company manufactures the product first and then decides to sell it. In marketing, company first determines customers needs and wants, and then decides on how to deliver a product to satisfy these wants, and so on and so forth. There are so many other aspects to it. So in the technology level, you know, if you might be trying to use the existing plant and machinery to make the sale. Yes, somebody is asking a question.
हेलो सर, वन डाउट सर, ये बार्गेनिंग क्वेश्चंस जो होते हैं वो ओपन एंडेड में आएंगे?
हाँ, बार्गेनिंग क्वेश्चन आपने बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पूछा है. बार्गेनिंग कब होता है बताओ? जब आपको सामने वाले का प्रोडक्ट में इंटरेस्ट है लेकिन प्राइस में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. एम आई राइट और नॉट? जब आप प्राइस पे पहुंचते हो तो बार्गेनिंग होता है. तो जो मैं क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था, दैट इज़ टू फर्स्ट एक्सप्लोर सामने वाले के मन में क्या चल रहा है. जब आप प्रॉस्पेक्ट को आपके ऑफरिंग में इंटरेस्टेड करवाना चाहते हो तब आपको ओपन एंडेड पूछना है. ठीक है ना?
यस सर.
हाँ. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस? चलो.
नो सर.
Okay, then I'm moving ahead. Go through the slide. It's pretty, obvious in this that, need priority, needs of the seller, whereas marketing stresses needs and wants of the buyer. You need both. You need a phase where you are focused on the buyer, and then you connect that need, that desire of the buyer to your offering. So that is where sales comes in. Either or, they are both two sides of the same coin. Without both of them, your success is going to be very limited. Models for e-commerce. So, the first to come was website, then mobile came. So in order to make your offerings more easily purchasable on the mobile, accelerated mobile pages by Google had been launched. And this is basically a technology standard whereby on Android phones your websites will launch and load faster. Single page apps. This is a alternative competing standard for mobile offerings compared to accelerated mobile pages. Accelerated mobile pages renders better on Android, whereas single page app websites can be on both iOS platform and on mobile. Or will you go ahead with a native app itself, because a lot of features are only available when you have a proper Android app or a proper iOS app. So within app or in-app purchases, this is also a mode of e-commerce. Most of the games, whether you have it be PUBG or your other kinds of OTT like Sony Live and all these things, there's an offering to buy things that are not available in your package. Facebook store or WhatsApp or Beam UPI driven, and then seller listing or on a own site. You could be a seller on Flipkart, on Amazon, or will you go ahead and make your own site? So Facebook shops. So this is something that has been launched since the last pandemic. So you can see that in the post itself, you're not only promoting the advantages of your offering and getting the social conversation started, also beneath the thread itself, beneath the post itself, there is an option to shortlist the product, to favorite the product, to see further information on the products. So there is a lot of e-commerce platforms such as BigCommerce, Woo, Channel Advisor. All these existing e-commerce platforms are further getting Facebook interlinking, and it's always been there. If you see, if the customers know that a certain bazaar in Gujarat, Ahmedabad is famous for certain things, then customers will go there. That was customer going to the bazaar of sellers. Now the bazaar of sellers is going to wherever the customer is. If the customer is on a certain Facebook profile of a certain influencer, social media personality, then that is where the sellers will try to go. It has become customer facing now more than ever before. So this is like a little bit of a mechanism of how in-app purchases are happening. If you think you want to launch your game company and you want your games to have in-app purchases, and you don't want to sit and make new apps separately for Android and iOS, then you might use the Xamarin offering, which is a technology standard by Microsoft, and then do the same source code but have two different apps from the same source code. So that is the advantage of Xamarin platform, and similarly there are other platforms also, but just to show a brief demo, I have picked Xamarin. So here what is happening is there is this device which is you could also run your first iteration of your app on a simulator. So there is a device or simulator, then the app, and then there is StoreKit. So this StoreKit UI allows your app to interface with the iTunes server and iTunes Connect, so that you can get the people with iTunes account and have their payments passed through. So this is something that StoreKit API does for you inside the Xamarin platform, which is offered by Microsoft. So you have to start questioning, okay, I am here to sell, then what is the channel? Am I a direct channel person, or how many intermediaries are there between what I want to sell to my customer and between me and the producer? So the more the intermediaries, the less pricing power in my hands to attract the customer. Any other person who has more ability to discount is more likely to get the customer. So in the first example, between producer and consumer, there is nothing, absolutely nothing. So this rarely happens, but in the case of vaccines, more or less this situation can be seen. The producer, Serum Institute or Bharat Biotech, and the consumer is us. So there is a channel, but the channel is many times, for lakhs and lakhs of Indians, that channel made by the government bodies and all these people, they are giving away so many vaccines for free. Of course, if there is a private institute, then that private institute comes in the middle here. So this is a private institute, here they are charging some money. So this is like an example of how the channels influence the pricing of the end offering to the customer. Now e-commerce plus social media, nowadays it is being coined as a social commerce, where the Indian internet population is already using some services online. Internet usage evolution funnel for India. So as each stage progresses, first we barely got access to the internet, okay, lots of people. Then out of that, who are on social platforms, about let's say 250 million. This is all information from Red Seer analysis, and going forward these numbers will increase. So remember, in the funding presentation that I gave you, you had to think of targeted addressable market, TAM, and then the serviceable obtainable market, SOM. So these are some of the things. Monthly active consumers who are internet product buyers, they are some of the most serviceable obtainable market for most of the startups. Compared to the 500 million who just got on the internet, the 50 million who are actually actively transacting on the internet are more attractive as a potential audience to sell your offerings. So this is what I wanted you to think of, that whom do you want to sell and where are they located in the funnel, in the pipeline. What is their understanding of how to find out products and services for them, and how likely are they to order these products and services for their needs. Now we have seen that in the earlier stage that social media plus e-commerce is social commerce. Then the question is, which social channel to go for further and further engagement. So according to viralnation.com survey, Instagram seems to garner a lot of engagements for all these brands which are trying to push their clothing related offerings, clothing or anything that looks good on your external person. Those kind of offerings in Instagram are getting more and more engagement. So what is the dropship business model? So dropshipping business model is the model where you are freed from owning a inventory. Okay, customer, you act as the person who facilitates the sale to the customer. Then based on the receipt of money, you transfer the order to the supplier, then the supplier supplies to the customer. Otherwise what would have happened is you would need to stock 1,000 things. And for example, if you are planning on being an author, even today you have two channels available to you. You publish your book, suppose, and then you go to a traditional offset publisher. Then the offset printer will tell you that I will print at least 1,000 books for you. then you have to carry the inventory of 1,000 books until those 1,000 books are sold. In this example, your house is going to be filled with 1,000 books. And look at the alternative. What is the alternative? Print on demand. So these print on demand services will print the book and send it to the customer, and since they are offering all of these services, the cost of book produced to print on demand is generally 3 to 5 times of the cost that a traditional offset printer will give you. So this is what you are trading off. This is the trade-off, that when you want the convenience of not carrying your inventory, you get the inconvenience of not controlling the per unit price. But that's like you need to see whether the customer that you're servicing, does he or she have the appetite to go for a more premium price point. If they have that kind of a premium price point appetite, then you don't even need to carry any inventory. Particularly in the case of festive t-shirts like Halloween t-shirts, or particularly Diwali lights. These lights, Diwali lights, they will hardly have a sale after Diwali has gone. Very few people will go and buy those Diwali kind of lamps and lights. And maybe in the New Year and Christmas some people will buy. So what is the modus operandi in social commerce? So basically, a reseller is a person who purchases a product on behalf of someone else. This someone else can be yet another reseller or the end consumer, and in this process earns a small commission per product sold. Reselling, like other businesses, has two main sides: supply and demand. The user can resell by using two combinations. So see, supply, your Facebook plus WhatsApp. Demand, there also you are scouting using Facebook and WhatsApp. Another alternative can be Facebook, WhatsApp plus Meesho, and then the demand also you are generating through the Facebook WhatsApp model. So these are some of the combinations in which you can operate. So an overview of a business like Meesho. So first, Meesho will associate with wholesalers and list the product on the Meesho website, and then the resellers will sell the product to customers via social channels after their profit margin is added. Listings across pages. So till now we have seen that you could either put your full-fledged website, or you could further integrate yourself with Facebook. Wherever your customer is spending time, you have to be there. Now if you build a website versus a Facebook store, what is the difference? In the Facebook store, you are at the mercy of Facebook's terms and conditions. If Facebook doesn't like what you are selling, then they will ban you, no questions asked. Even with advertisers, Facebooks are very strict. Facebook algorithm is very strict. So you want to be where your customer is, and at the same time you are trying to make your business as immune to somebody else's manipulation. You don't want that this month's entire business is scrapped to zero because your Facebook store was closed by Facebook. Now the algorithm doesn't really care. It is not really fully human. Okay, some weird pattern it will pick up, and it might think that it is better to close your store, then it will. So you have to do a cost benefit analysis. You have to see that is it really that I am better served in the long run by completely depending on another platform. Most often you'll think, okay, let me have some kind of traction or traffic towards my own portal, and then Facebook's algorithm will detect that. If it sees that people are leaving Facebook app to go to your website, then it will again start scoring you negatively. So this is where there is always this trying to balance two conflicts. So for example, there are so many pinned groups, so many groups where certain people who are having interest in a certain topic or certain fan pages are there. Kanjivaram silk, cotton sarees, Bengal handloom sarees. These are different kinds of sarees. Similarly, in your subcategories, what you're trying to sell, what are the subcategories, and where are the groups, where are the discussions for those happening. If you can go there and start interacting, then you will start understanding the pulse of the market. At what price point, what offerings are popular in which cities, because these groups, they are also city wise, sometimes country wise, both. The different kinds of demographic targeting possible inside Facebook, and Facebook knows that. So currently, if you try to get your inventory listed, Facebook will see what kind of buyers you are targeting, what kind of demographic filters you are putting inside Facebook. I only want to sell to doctors, a very prized community. If you are trying to target your ad such a way that only doctors will be the people who see the ad, then the cost per lead of that ad becomes much more expensive than for the general public. Facebook is also smart. It knows that if you are trying to go after that elite premium buyer, then it means that your cost per lead should be higher. So the same 5,000 rupees ad budget, 10,000 rupees ad budget that you give to Facebook for a day might not even get you 100 leads, whereas it might get 200 leads in the general public. So if everybody who comes and goes through your offerings post and your offerings details, and out of 200, if only 2 convert, then you have to start seeing whether the 2 out of 200 is better, or whether I should pay more to Facebook to get those 25 proper qualified doctors only leads. That is another question that you have to see. So this question will actually need some hard money to be spent on your analysis by running the campaign. So these are all the various things that need to go inside your mind while the average unsuspecting Facebook user scrolls through some posts of saris and some posts of other articles that people are selling. All these things are going on in the mind of the marketer. So let's talk about the other whale in the Indian e-commerce industry, Flipkart. Here are some details about Flipkart. It was acquired by Walmart to the tune of 77% stake for about $16 billion, and the valuation increased to 21 billion. So this 16 billion is not the money that was changed hands. No, it was the result of infusion of Walmart's capital, and you will see further in the chart what I mean by that. So total revenue of e-commerce industry in 2017 alone was $21 billion. Now one of the largest deals in e-commerce industry in India is the Flipkart Walmart deal. Now Flipkart acquired 10 startups since its inception, all horizontal mergers, before being acquired by Walmart. So the threshold case for proving that value received is in the eyes of the beholder. Now since the day Flipkart has been founded, and in every fundraising, a huge portion of that money has been directly spent on making the goods and services available to the end user at a staggering discount. So since Flipkart has been founded, it has always been focused on creating word of mouth. Before every big billion day sale, there will be so much gossip and discussion between people about look at the upcoming online sales that are going to happen. Otherwise, the Indian consumer is not so easily trusting for something that is not available for inspection in front of the eyes. That mindset has been converted, that habit has been converted by Flipkart by burning hundreds of millions of dollars in creating attractive discounts, so that the Indian consumer will trust Flipkart to bring something attractive to them on the big billion day sale. So by merging with Flipkart, Walmart is trying to reappear as a up-to-date younger company. Flipkart was already, burning through $1 billion of its prior fundraises before during and after the deal was made. And there's this Foreign Exchange Management Act and other such income tax and anti-competition, the Competition Act, which will try to make sure that these large conglomerates do not completely crush the local economy, the local sellers. So every time a big billion day sale happens, a huge number of local sellers will complain about unfair predatory pricing tactics by all these online businesses. So if you want to go through such a large chunk of raised capital and you want to not pay taxes, is that even possible? It actually is possible. As long as you keep showing the sustained losses, it is possible. So to show sustained losses and expenses, this is sort of what Flipkart's actual internal business structure looks like. So the Singapore holding company that controls mostly everything has a stake in the payments part of Flipkart, has a stake in the logistics part and in the marketplace. Okay, then the payment part established in Singapore is different from the part established in India. PTE Limited are the Singapore equivalents, PVT Limited are the India equivalents. And by doing all these things, Flipkart is able to ensure that it shows zero taxes because zero income is earned, because like I said, it is continuously burning cash. It's continuously, showing a loss. So this is like the way Amazon continued to show losses and baffle the investors and the tax person together. So if you have no profit to show, how will you be taxed? That is the philosophy behind it. The important thing is, if you want your successive fundraising to be successful, see, there are not many sources of capital in the world. It is customers' money is number one, number two banks, and then number three venture capitalists, and to some extent government grants and stuff like that. Now for Flipkart's case, if customers' capital is not there, then banks will not give it loan. So what is left? Just the number three. So number three means venture capitalist, because government grants will not come to a loss making company most likely. So here all the venture capitalists, they were looking at, okay, how can my venture capital not go back to not go back into the hands of the founder, number one, and number two is with minimum taxes paid, how can it go to make sure that the company expands, that more jobs are created, that more value is offered to the end user, so that the valuation of the company keeps expanding. So then that's why this whole really complex international business arrangement is done, so that the different tax treaties between Singapore and India can be availed and the sustained losses can be shown, so that the income tax does not need to be paid, because it is a big chunk of corporate earnings, income taxes. If that tax is not paid, instead the consumer is given the benefit, then it is a critical component to increase the valuation of the startup. So the time of the acquisition, this is roughly how the amount of money invested, and the amount of valuation done. So you see 210 million invested, but the valuation was 2.6 billion, a staggering multiple. More than 10x multiple was there even at that time, because Flipkart was getting more and more new Indian customers' financial data, home addresses. That is pretty valuable information in the eyes of venture capitalists. If you have the ability to keep tracking your end customers' buying behavior, see, when you go to a shop, the shopkeeper does not know where you live. The shopkeeper does not know your phone number, does not know your name. He cannot predict when your birthday is coming, and he cannot, most likely offer you something that matches your tastes when you are not coming physically to the shop. But that's where Flipkart is different. That's where all this e-commerce is different. The ability to granularly understand the needs of the customers. So the more the data was increasing, relevant data and transaction frequency to prove the hypothesis that okay, having all of this data means more transactions with customers. So the more Flipkart was able to prove both of these things, the more its valuation increased. So what are the advantages for resellers who choose to be online? So reselling, provides unique opportunity for lots of Indian women who always had an aspiration. So this is more in the context of Meesho. Yeah, so lots of Indian women, they have friends, they are always scrolling on social media when at home, and when they are not, cooking food or looking after the family, there's always that 4 hour gap, 6 hour gap, depending on family to family, where they would spend time watching television. So here they are spending time watching Facebook groups, discussing with friends, and then seeing whether a certain article can be resold. That's a more productive use of time or not. So that's the point. And the advantage for buyers is like, yeah, so even though there is a resale happening, as long as the buyer is able to get it at a cheaper price compared to the local shop, even the buyer wins. So there must be some limitations. Nothing in world is always having just benefit after benefit after benefit, right? So what are some of the limitations? So the product refunds. Several e-commerce companies have gone bankrupt processing refunds. And there can be two major issues because of that. Either the product itself is faulty. Even Toyota, which is the leader in global quality, had to call back some of its car models from time to time. These things just happen. The other could be that the communication regarding the product was so exaggerated that the product could not match the customer expectations. Now if the product is defective outside of the refund window, then you as a company may not need to give back the money, but that defective product will get 1-star ratings, complaints on user forums about you from the customer. That is even more harmful than actually returning the money and pacifying the customer. कस्टमर को खुश रखने के लिए पैसा वापस देना पड़ेगा, अगर लेकिन कस्टमर अगर 10 खराब बात बोल देता है तो नया लोग नहीं आएगा. दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ ट्रेड ऑफ यू हैव टू थिंक. अभी रिफंड करने जाओगे एंड देन द कस्टमर वाज सपोज्ड टू रिटर्न यू आईफोन 12 एंड इन द बॉक्स यू आर गेटिंग आईफोन 6, देन व्हाट विल यू डू? And when you go back to trace that customer, he or she may perhaps be living on rent, or may perhaps have given the wrong address also. Who knows? So these and all are kind of constraints in the e-commerce. Then the new buyer, the prospect, they are not able to feel the texture. टच नहीं कर सकते खरीदने से पहले. तो कोई चीज़, अगर कोई साड़ी 25,000 की है, 50,000 की है, तो उसका तो लाइकलीहुड ऑफ सेल्स ऑनलाइन बहुत ही कम हो जाता है. देन अनेबल टू स्मेल दी ओडर और दी फ्रेग्रेंसेस. तो जो परफ्यूम्स जो 5,000 के हैं, 10,000 के हैं, उनका फ्रेग्रेंस ही नहीं मिलेगा, तो फिर उसको ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर करने का प्रोबेबिलिटी भी बहुत कम है. एंड कंसिस्टेंटली क्वालिटी इंश्योर करना इन ऑनलाइन बिजनेस, इसमें क्या हो जाता है कि दुकान में आपने अपना समझिए प्रोडक्ट है और आपका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के साथ टाइप है, आपको पता है आपका मैन्युफैक्चरर सो एंड सो लोकेशन में है और ये इतने ग्रेड का माल बनाता है, प्लस माइनस वट एवर द टॉलरेंस. लेकिन जैसे ही आप पूरा कंट्री में भेजना शुरू कर देते हो तो पूरा कंट्री का वेदर कंडीशन आपको पता रखना पड़ेगा. क्या आपका प्रोडक्ट पूरे कंट्री के वेदर कंडीशन में जब ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है, व्हेन इट इज़ बीइंग ट्रांसपोर्टेड, कैन इट मेंटेन द सेम अपील टू द एंड यूज़र? Weather conditions, like if it is raining a lot, then is your packaging such that whenever it ends up in the hands of your ultimate user, does it maintain the same quality? So consistent quality ensuring in e-commerce is actually a pretty demanding job in terms of packaging also, and in terms of product selection also. If the product is too fragile, too delicate, then your packaging cost increases that much. Then it might even be that the end user might go to the local shop and buy it at a cheaper price than the cost of transporting the good. This can also happen. So e-commerce opportunities, wider access to market, surplus inventory, and just a minute. Okay, so we are halfway through. Yeah. There's a government procurement platform called GEMS. So if you're an online seller, then a government department sitting in Andaman and Nicobar Islands needs can be known to you, and you can bid for that. And if your bid is approved, then you can sell to them. So it's not like you only have to sell to the end customer. Even government procurement has been made online. So if your online business, if your sales has been thoroughly documented and you are able to show that the invoices that you are generating are to high quality end consumers. Suppose at the end of the transaction there is a branch of Tata Motors or a branch of some other reputed business that you are servicing, like Reliance Industries Jamnanagar plant. Then the invoices, because these big companies will pay you after 45 days, maybe after 90 days, so invoice itself carries the weightage, and with that you might be able to get invoice discounting. And with the sustained track record of increasing your e-commerce users, you might even find it easier to find venture capital. Even for Flipkart, a company that was sustainably making losses, there were so many venture capitalists willing to back it up. If you make sustainable profit in e-commerce, why will you not get venture capitalists to back you up? So able to track buying behavior for generating consistent upsales and cross sales. Now let's look at another success story in the commerce space, DMart, which is a little unconventional, so to speak. When everybody was trying to eliminate the need for local shops and showrooms, our Damani sir decided, I will use the own real estate, own buildings. So the cost of ownership of those prime real estate in the city, in the neighborhoods of densely populated, where a lot of residents are living, such kinds of neighborhoods, Damani ji had the foresight to go ahead and start buying real estate. So it's brick and mortar first, but with the same ideology of e-commerce, that how many middlemen can I eliminate. So even though it is brick and mortar, these are not small shops, these are large areas where large inventory can be taken directly from manufacturer. And this is where your business acumen needs to show up, that you don't need to follow the crowd. Each entrepreneur brings something unique, something different, and that is why the end consumer gets more benefit from that entrepreneur, and so that business starts flourishing. So the emphasis on getting better deals from manufacturers and getting them across to the end user was so clear in Damani ji's mind when he set up DMart. So see, super stockist, wholesaler, retailer, सबको हटा के खाली DMart को बीच में रख देने का है. That's it. And this kind of mindset of in the entire supply chain, how big a player can you be, that is critical to passing on benefits to consumer. So if we are able to remove so many middlemen and churn more of the manufacturer's inventory, मतलब manufacturer भी middleman को रखता है, middleman sell नहीं करता है, तब तक manufacturer को भी पैसा नहीं आता है, so the manufacturer is not going to give the same steep discounts that he would have otherwise given. So see, you have to compare. If the good is going to sit idle on the shelf and rot, versus giving a 5%, 10%, 15%, 25% discount and getting the goods off the shelf in the hands of the customer, so that the new cycle of transactions can happen, is always better for the manufacturer. Because see, if there is no need for the अगर existing inventory move नहीं होता है तो नया manufacture करके करेगा क्या, रखेगा किधर, देगा किसको? Simple basic question is always in the face of even the big manufacturers. So that is why when DMart came up, so many brands started backing it. अरे वाह, I'm manufacturing things, this guy is getting it off the shelf. इन्वेंट्री कम कर दे रहा है मेरा, चलो इसको दे दो भाई, डिस्काउंट दे दो. So then so many brands coming together, that itself becomes an advantage for DMart. So now I as an end consumer don't need to go to shops B or C because DMart has most of the things that I need. Again, the inventory itself becomes the advantage. So DMarts are always full. Their stocks are also full. Everything is full. Always I see their employees are moving things out of cartons and putting it on shelf. Moving things out of cartons, putting it on shelves. So what is the cyclicity of it? 26 days. Everything gets cycled in 26 days. In short, the big consignment that came from a truck, within 26 days they would have sold all of that, all those cartons full of objects, cartons full of Lays or Britannia or whatever is that item that they got from the truck. They have got it in the hands of customers in 26 days and paid the manufacturer. That is working capital management. Now I said invoice discounting earlier. Some big names like Tata, Reliance, etc., when you go to offer them your services or offerings, products, they might make you wait for 45 to 90 days. Till that time, what will you do? Where will you get the working capital to manufacture the next batch? So for that I told you invoice discounting. Here invoice discounting का जरूरत ही नहीं है most of the time, because in 26 days DMart itself is going to pay you. That's a huge advantage for manufacturers. So first DMart gets the big reputed brands tie-ups with manufacturers of big brands. DMart gets the tie-up and gets customers coming. Then DMart starts introducing its own brand. Another cash cow for DMart. DMart's own sunflower oil, DMart's own biscuit, DMart's own rice. So once you start having that footfall of predictable customers who are your loyalists, who will keep coming back to you, because you have replaced the super stockist, wholesaler, reseller, everybody, and you are giving amazing value, then you can start introducing your own brand without spending a single naya rupiah on advertising. Otherwise, to launch a single brand, you have to spend crores of rupees to advertise it and to get people to recognize you as a good brand. So instead of spending money on film star celebrities in the advertisements, what DMart did is we'll give the end customer benefit. Same thing Flipkart also did. Rarely you will see a Flipkart ad with a big celebrity. All the benefit is passed on to the customer in the form of discounts, and the customer recognizes that. So this is just a brief outline. It is like 10 slides come padega if I want to list everything that is carried by by DMart. So these are basically some of the overview of the product categories. You can read through them later. So if I have such powerful pricing ability, why can I not go online? And that is exactly what Damani ji did. DMart ready. You order your thing online, we'll deliver it to your home. Some discount will be reduced. So what? It is still discounted compared to paying full retail price. So even in a prime real estate place like Mumbai, where real estate is so expensive, there also so many 40 booths have opened where it is not possible or feasible to open the full-fledged DMart store. Pickup stores are there. Means you order online, your entire batch of 40 items that you had ordered will be brought to that pickup store, and then you can go ahead and pick it up from that store. Or nowadays to DMart ready most of the time is even bringing it to your home itself. And of course there is a mobile application. Why wouldn't there be? So the mobile application is used by many people to order things, and social media presence is also there. Now if you are taking so much from society, Why not give something in return? So a lot of corporate social responsibility is done by DMart, you know. Yeah, there's all these municipal schools are taken up for maintenance and renovation by DMart, and improving the standard of amenities in schools. So we have seen how existing large players are playing the e-commerce game. What about you? What can you do for the traditional brick and mortar? So seller onboarding to existing platforms like Flipkart, e-commerce, Meesho. This is one of the accesses. Okay, you don't want to manage the entire technology stack, then just go ahead and be a seller. You just need your GST number, and there will be some criteria. For example, in Amazon, you cannot start selling 1,000 things from the first day. No, first they will give you 10 slot, 10 items ka inventory slot. If you want to be listed as a prime seller, you need to send your 10 items properly packaged to a Amazon distribution center. Then from there, Amazon will redistribute it or resend it to the end customer. That is called Amazon Prime. Inventory that Amazon is carrying. Then what is the downside? Why should we even bother? You know, if it is so simple to go online and sell, let's just keep selling with Amazon, Flipkart and all these other people, na? So the thing is, number one constraint is inventory. Okay, until those 10 products are not sold on Amazon, you cannot put 100 products up. Then after 100 is sold, then they will let you put 1,000 products up. So now the staggering may be different. It may not be 10, 100,000 directly, but there is a kind of staggered inventory allotment. And if your products are selling well enough, other people are always scouring. People who want to sell on Amazon are always looking on what are the hot moving commodities and offerings, and they will become your customers. Sorry, competitors. They may buy one product from you, see how it is, everything, and then they'll figure out how to get the similar product at a similar or lesser pricing, and then they'll try to compete with you. So this happens a lot. And this would happen even in a physical store. If a certain ghagra is selling very popularly, then the neighboring two stores will try to figure out a similar looking matching pattern and try to tap into that fashion, that trend. So if you want more uniqueness, if you don't want your customer to get distracted across 10 sellers offering similar items, you create your own e-commerce store using Shopify or Instamojo. Okay, or you don't even want to go through all that hassle. You want a place where you can list your offerings and a person who will pick up things from you and deliver to end customer. Then tie up with bike delivery services like Zomato, Swiggy, Shadowfax, but these are mostly in the food space. Excuse me for a minute. Right. And the last tie-up you can do is with the payment processor themselves. A lot of payment processors themselves have the special offerings and discounts or special tie-ups and stuff. So if you tie up with the payment processor, then on the app of the payment processor, your product might get listed. So even in 2016, 53% global users say they have made an online purchase. That number has much more increased in the last year and a half. So direct to consumer. So all of this e-commerce and online basically can be clubbed under the direct to consumer category, where you try to be the intermediary between the manufacturer and the end user. Then what is stopping the manufacturer itself to bring its own online portal? Nothing. So that is also there. Even in direct to consumer, manufacturer himself or herself is trying to promote their own brand, their own online portal. That is also happening. So a Unicommerce report said that 65% increase in brands developing their own online presence and website so they can sell directly to the consumer. So this is what it looks like compared to 2019. Self-shipped orders have increased by 7%. Correspondingly, marketplace shipped orders have come down for some reputed brands. Self-shipped versus marketplace shipped. Marketplaces are like the Flipkarts and Amazon. Self-shipped is like you go and directly buy from the website of let's say Johnson and Johnson, which doesn't happen much in India, but abroad it is happening. All these brands, they have created their own e-commerce portals. And even in India, some you can buy a lot of things from the manufacturer's brands, manufacturer website itself. For example, everything that you buy from Domino's is directly from the website of Domino's, most likely. So manufacturer of the pizza is Domino's and they are only promoting it. So in e-commerce, the amount of attention, you cannot calculate attention. You cannot see how many milligrams or kilograms of attention somebody has given, but you can see time. So time you can see. So time allocated is directly proportional to the amount of e-commerce that you can do. So let's see that if you want to onboard an existing brick and mortar shop, and going by the earlier thing, you want the customer's time to be spent on your offerings, to look you up and to choose you as the person they want to buy from. You need to make it really hassle free. First, the payment itself should be easy and trustworthy. Customer payment should not end up in third party person's hands. It should go to you, or at least your bank account. So that is online payments. And if it takes 10 minutes to do that payment, you'll lose the customer. So it has to happen in that small bracket of 2 minutes. 2 minutes is also actually quite a lot. If you were to go to a shop, then the payment happens in less than a minute, more or less. So 2 minutes still, it's considered giving all the internet variations and the time it takes for payments to get processed across different geographies. So 2 minutes is still respectable time. Then the online store plus shipping. So you need somebody who will do all these things. Online listing means a website where all your offerings are listed, and somebody to pick your inventory and deliver to the end user. Shipping. Then website plugins, easy APIs and super fast integration. So if you want your offering to end up in PhonePe's shop, in PhonePe's app, that means that you need to give an API that PhonePe can call and show. Okay, PhonePe is not going to individually list your offering. No, they will not put a dedicated engineer to do that for you. You have to give an API, if at all they are accepting. So there are different filters also for all these PhonePe and other payment processors to tie up with e-commerce vendors. So you'll have to satisfy those criterias. But once you do that, it's possible. Then website plugins, I covered this. In marketing and analytics, you should know like what kind of offerings are actually getting sold and interesting to the end user. Then the capital needs, so does your online payment, at the back of that payment, can you make the credit card company or the loan debit card EMI facility available to the end user for high ticket purchases? User flexibility, request payments in bulk in just one click, accept payments through email, SMS, mobile, website, social media. These are some of the flexibilities that you as a e-commerce, as a brick and mortar company that wants to sell online, needs to look at in your partner. You need to partner up with somebody. See, basically business में अगर आप खुद से नहीं कर सकते तो आपको किसी के साथ टाई अप करना है, ताकि आपको जो भी नहीं जमता है वो हो सके. तो कोई आपको ये सब एम्बेड करके देना चाहिए, या फिर ये सब जो भी सॉफ्टवेयर रिलेटेड एस्पेक्ट्स है आपके पार्टनर में होना चाहिए. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द थिंग्स यू नीड टू लुक फॉर व्हेन यू आर ट्राइंग टू कन्वर्ट ब्रिक एंड मोर्टर टू ऑनलाइन. तो डैशबोर्ड, you need to know what all things have happened in the business, who has purchased, who has returned, where do your finances stand, can you continue to serve a particular product category. View sales and customers, get detailed sales insight, track payments and refunds, download customer data. So tomorrow if the partner with whom you have tied up says for whatever reason that they will not do business with you, so you should have your customers data with you. You should be able to download that data. Customer data is gold now, no questions about it. Whether you are a brick and mortar getting into e-commerce or a seasoned player of e-commerce, your customer data is the core pillar of your valuation. Then is it going to support the various compliances on GST and the payments, and is it going to be easy to market on via email? So email marketing is Mailchimp is a company that does email marketing. So can you have a API tie up with them so that every time you want to let your customers know about a new product, you don't have to manually send them an email. Analytics is everything. You cannot keep sending the same person the same email 10 times in the same day. You will be blocked off as spam. So you should know whom to send which campaign, and so on. Freebies that are included with InstaMojo, Mojo Commerce and Mojo Express. These are some of the things that are included. So even though it is said freebies, it means that there is no additional price to get this offering. However, whatever the Express, Mojo Express, if it has done some kind of logistics, then it will charge the logistics transfer fee. ओके 5 किलो का आइटम का कॉस्ट ट्रांसफ़र करना और आधे किलो के आइटम के कॉस्ट को ट्रांसफ़र करने में तो डिफरेंस रहेगा, लेकिन ये जो लॉजिस्टिक्स है इसको इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए एक्स्ट्रा फीस नहीं ले रहे हैं. अदरवाइज लॉजिस्टिक्स ऑपरेटर्स इफ दे ट्राई टू इंटीग्रेट इट विथ योर वेबसाइट, देयर इज एन एडिशनल इंटीग्रेशन फीस इन मेनी केसेस. So let's see now what are the kind of marketing models and sales for marketing effectively. So you're trying to sell something, then you need to look after the positioning, right, in the shelf. Physical inventory में जो होता है वैसे ही similarly you need to see how much time and effort reduction can you do for the end customer. If somebody wants a stapler tacking gun, you need to get them on the relevant page with as few clicks as possible. If you keep showing them dozen things that they don't want or need, they will never go to your website second time. Content. Now you see the physical store में inventory रहता है, but digital store में सिर्फ text और images रहता है. So all of this text and images के लिए common word is content. And you want to optimize that content so that it appears in the hands of your customer in a way that the customer feels delighted. Now finding new customers, so similar sites, similar web. If you give the name of your competitor, then they will show you what are the similar sites and websites and where your customers usually go to. So in the do-it-yourself products category, which is like the hammer, the chisel and all these other hardware related, inventory related things, what are the various sites where people buy from? So this is like a comparison overseas, because this is a big product category overseas. So you need to map your customers. Now instead of do-it-yourself products, it could be something else in your case, but the idea is that you need to have a geographic map, competitor map. Now you need to identify the high potential customers, ensure the right content, gain maximum visibility. So that's content optimization. So what does identify potential customers look like? Make sure to spend time on customer with most sales potential. Remember, in that funnel, out of half a billion, 500 million people who just came online in our country, 50 million people are there that have been doing transactions online. So the gross list might be very large, but then narrow it down to people who are likely to transact with you, and then create that list. So what is content? Text, images, etc. Now show the application area. More text, more hits in search engines. More images lead to more faith in the customer कि हाँ बाबा इसके पास सही माल है. Because in the absence of touching and feeling, visual creates a lot of emphasis. So if you want your customer to trust you, the visual that you offer, the images that you offer should be clear. At the same time, it should not take 10 hours to load. If you offer a 100 MB super high resolution photo, it is useless. It will take too long to load. Customer will run away from the site by then. It has to be able to load fast, but at the same time look good in a 6-inch screen. So compared to before and here, the image is more shrunk, more squished, more marginalized, and there is not enough pictures, just one image. So usually if any listing only has one image, then it doesn't satisfy the curiosity of the potential buyer. And the product text also needs to be as detailed as you can make it. It cannot be a 100-page user manual, but at the same time it has to be more than 4 lines. It has to have some 7-8 paragraphs, 6 to 8 paragraphs that are relevant to give the information to the customer. Sometimes sellers will think, oh, if I give too much information, then the customer may not end up buying. So the customer is not going to buy anyway if there is too little information. You need to find the right customer for your goods and services. Like I said, it's better to refund money than to have a customer who is very angry by getting the wrong goods and services and who is continuously tarnishing your name. Content optimization, ensure right content, a lot more images and more text. There's an example. Then ensure right content, compare products and find gaps in the content. So you see some seller having these mistakes done on their listing, then you can be the seller who corrects that mistake and then you can tap onto the customer. So not all sellers are savvy enough to figure out the listing requirements, the sensitivity and impact of all these small details in the customer's mind. If you can be that seller, then you can have more customers than the existing sellers, as long as you look at all these nuances. So there are all these comparison sites. Rapid.com is one of them. You can compare and get more information, more product images. Content maximization, optimization, gain maximum visibility. So keep asking this question to yourself: are our products located in the correct place in the store? When the store has so many aisles, so many rows, so of shelves, then each shelf there are some indicators, right? This is the grocery shelf zone, this is the shelf zone for stationery. So like that, inside a website everything is nested under some sublink. So inside computers and laptop you will not find shirts and t-shirts. That is how it is your responsibility as a seller on a Amazon or on a Flipkart to ensure that your product is nested under the right category. Then can people recall it from your brand? If you are spending money on social media to get your name across, then if people type your name, then can they see the product? And site structure. So site structure and generic searches. So if the generic search means the name of a product will not be there, but the category of a product might be there, or a competitor's name might be there. So see, photocopiers are rarely searched in India, what is searched is Xerox machine. So even if your competitor's name is being searched, have you somehow managed to put your page listing to show up when a competitor's name is searched? Because not everybody actually wants to pay the premium to import a machine from Xerox company America all the time. Most often, most Xerox machines in India are not from Xerox, they are from Canon. But people have that fixation and they don't use the general category name photocopier, they just call it Xerox machine. So these and all things are there. When people are searching, they may not even search with product category name or your name, they might have a most popular competitor's name there. So you need to have that kind of optimization done so that you show up when the competitor's name is searched. Improve current customer website. So 81% shoppers who research products online before purchasing, and so what are they looking for? So they are looking for, saving their money. Then is it easier? Then is the selection better? Then can the pages be accessed faster? And the information, does it have the necessary relevant width and depth? And are people routinely shopping there? Because I want to see people who have bought before me, what are their comments, how many star ratings do they give. Somebody has put a comment, huh? What is this? Let me see. So what is procurement? Procurement is a process of getting things, it is a bigger word, it is a synonym for ordering. Okay, procurement means ordering in simple words. Today many things are there to discuss. Can we start question answer from 9:35? Acha, okay, let me finish the slide. Not many slides are there, and then I will come back to seeing the comments. So sales activation, make promotions and sales activations once content is optimized. Banners on start page. Okay, where and all you can put the banner. Then can we appear in a newsletter? Then social media campaigns. So basically develop a plan for your growth. Okay, think with where your customers persona is most likely to be, on which social sites or which pages or which YouTube channels. Okay, then you start optimizing your content so that your end consumer can actually see and have faith on you. If the customer doesn't trust on your ability to deliver, why will they hand over money? So then the sales happens. And thank you. So I'm open for questions now.
Hello, sir.
हाँ.
सर इन्वेंट्रीज होगी सपोज ड्रॉप एंड शिपिंग डिलीवरी के केस में, वो सपोज अमेजोन के केस में, तो अमेजोन की सारी इन्वेंट्रीज होगी या जो मैन्युफैक्चरर्स होगा उसकी इन्वेंट्रीज होगी, वहां से अमेजोन कलेक्ट करेगा?
हाँ, तो मैंने आपको अमेजोन के केस में क्या बताया था कि जो आपका जो अमेजोन प्राइम करके एक लिस्टिंग कैटेगरी रहता है, आपने देखा होगा ना, प्राइम मेंबरशिप लिया है आप लोगों में से किसी ने? तो प्राइम मेंबरशिप का दो चीज़ें होता है। एक तो सामने से आपने 1000 रुपया साल का दिया प्राइम मेंबरशिप का, जिसमें आपको गाना वगैरह सुनने को मिलता है, और पीछे से क्या होता है कि आपको वो डिलीवरी जल्दी देने को दिखता है। सेम थिंग सेलर के लिए भी एक प्राइम मेंबरशिप है। वो प्राइम मेंबरशिप इज लाइक यू गिव इट टू अमेजॉन्स वेयर हाउस, आपका सामान आप अमेजॉन के वेयर हाउस में रखने के लिए दे देते हो। वो भी एक तरह का प्राइम लिस्टिंग है, क्योंकि वरना अमेजोन 2 दिन में कैसे नेट बायर के पास सामान पहुंचाएगा ना। अगर बायर समझ लो चंडीगढ़ में है, आप बैठे हो गुजरात में, तो गुजरात टू चंडीगढ़ जाने में टाइम लगेगा ना। तो वो जो टाइम है उसको कम करने के लिए अगर आप अमेजोन के वेयर हाउस में दे के रखोगे तो फिर जल्दी से गुड्स ट्रांसफ़र होगा टू द एंड बायर। तो दोनों होता है, आपका सवाल का जवाब है दोनों होता है। लेकिन अगर आप प्राइम लिस्टिंग में आना चाहते हो, जल्दी से अपना सामान पहुंचाना चाहते हो, तो आपको अपना माल अमेजोन के वेयर हाउस में देना पड़ेगा।
ओके सर।
But there are more than means crores of products. Okay, and if we are a Prime user, then we can buy any of the products from that listing.
Hmm.
Then this could be little difficult because suppose I want some product which is manufactured in Assam and I live in Gujarat. So keeping that stock will be difficult. Na? What I
Huh.
got the news is that they use flies, aeroplane to deliver the fast product. Is it?
See, you are trying to compare the mode of delivery, whether it is a drone or a plane, and you are comparing it with the inventory holding. Okay, inventory holding and delivery, they are not exactly the same. So when I say कि आप as a beginner Prime member can only send 10 articles to store in Amazon's warehouse, that number keeps changing from geography to geography. Sometimes it's less than 10, sometimes it's more than 10, depends. Okay, but first number of articles is less. Then the next round you can send more articles to store in Amazon's inventory. अभी वो Amazon का headache है कि वो आपका गुड ड्रोन से डिलीवर करता है कि पैराशूट से करता है कि शैडो फैक्स से करता है कि एनी अदर डिलीवरी नाम का लॉजिस्टिक्स प्रोवाइडर है DLHIVERY डिलीवरी, तो उसके थ्रू करेगा वो अमेजोन देख लेगा. अभी आपका सवाल है कि करोड्स ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स माइट बी देर आर, तो इजंट इट गोइंग टू बी डिफिकल्ट? इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट. इसके लिए अमेजोन फ्लिपकार्ट का इतना हाई वैल्यूएशन है बिकॉज दे आर मेकिंग डेडिकेटेड लार्ज वेयर हाउसेज इन एवरी स्टेट ऑफ द कंट्री एंड मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली इन एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑल्सो, so that they can carry your good to the end customer.
Yes, sir. Sir, आपने एक you told about one company that is Xamarin, I guess. Xamarin.
Xamarin is a
Uh,
framework. It is not a company. It is a framework made available by Microsoft.
okay, huh. It is a framework made available by the Microsoft. It's a framework. This means that if I am using it, then it can be similar with the other person who have used it, right?
Right.
And being a startup, we don't have enough funding, right?
Hmm.
So initially we will depend on it. But as we grow up, we require more and more security as well as data. There will be more and more data. And now we wish to change from that framework to other framework. So when we will grow up, changing that framework will not create problem.
So, my good friend, that is the pain of growing up. When we grew up, our old clothes, did they not create a problem? So old clothes को बाजू में रख के नया clothes तो ले लिया. So if you are going to grow up and you are going to embrace a new technology, then you will have to hire new partners or employees who will develop the technology according to the needs that you have given them. You're right, it will create problems and you have to hire people to solve problems. That is the short answer.
Yeah. Sir, you talked about different social media like
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, and initially there was also a news that WhatsApp may introduce ads. Okay. Despite that fact, what many people do, just to gain the customer, suppose if I put my status, there are 200 people who see it. Then I will put something from my company, my product on a status, and they will, means the consumer, means those who are seeing my status, they will see. Is it a good idea for that? Means being a popular, means creating a market?
Yeah,
Because
definitely. I'll tell you. I used to go to. So this is a very naive example, but it will let your get your mind thinking. So I used to go to a instructor. She used to cook very good gravy dishes. So I had a hobby. I used to go to her to learn how to cook. Okay, and that lady, she found more students coming to her place just by putting her ready cooked dishes photos as status. But the question in to ask is, are you trying to teach something? Now she doesn't get the same customers because of the lockdown and everything. Her turnout at home to learn dishes from her has come down. Okay, So you have to see whether your end offering is depending on people visiting you physically, or are you offering it online through e-commerce channels. Anyway, any visibility, anything that gets you customers attention is a good thing, whether it is the status on WhatsApp, or it is the, you know, the Facebook scroll on the page. Question is, from there, from getting activated the attention to getting the money in your bank account, what all steps you need to satisfy. So for that auntie who used to teach cooking, she still needed people to come physically to her place and see how the food was cooked, demonstrated, and then they would pay her the tuition fees per session. But that also she was making good money, 5,000 per day, and she used to do 3-4 sessions like that in a week. So this is a housewife, you know, she is using social media very smartly. Now again her students have started coming back little by little, but in the entire lockdown her business was not working. So why I am giving this case studies to compare and contrast. If you are offering, you want to get it across in your hand of the customer, what all things are there. Now Facebook, WhatsApp has integrated payments also. So if somebody sees your status, then can you put something written in your status that will make the customer reach out to you. So if you can say that first 100 people who reach out to me before let's say 72 hours, or before the next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever, before the next Diwali or something, whatever, I will give them something bonus, then they might reach out to you. You have to make sure that views get converted into conversations, then conversations get converted into transactions. Yeah.
Yes,
सर विशाल डाउट है.
Okay, go ahead.
नहीं ते और डाउट हो तो पूछ ले, मैं बाद में.
Thank you so much. Sir, but
Welcome.
according to the IDE, IDE is one of the company which provide digital marketing course, right? I attended one, but in that what they have said that many of the social media, for example, they have given the example of Gmail. Gmail has a click rate of almost 3%, 5% we can say, whereas SMS has a click rate of 6%, right? We are investing on these social media platform, then there should be a much click rate and there should be much engagement as compared to we are investing on it, right? But it's not being satisfied. Then also in the digital market, it is said that doing a digital market is the best idea. Can how?
I'll answer that question with a simple example. So there's a flyover, okay, Worli Ceiling flyover in Mumbai, and on that flyover there are not more than 10 banners, maybe even just less than 10 banners. Means huge banners, 40 feet 60 feet banners, where the latest film stars photos and faces will be there. 1 week of renting that banner, which is on the Worli Ceiling, cost more than 40 lakhs. Can you let that sink in for a minute? 1 week of rent on that area is 40 lakhs. And the people who are putting that banner have no idea whether Shah Rukh Khan has seen that banner ad, or whether I have seen or you have seen. So they also can ask the same question, why? Why is it so expensive? That is the cost of being seen by people who live in that Worli Ceiling route. That is one of the highest density of Karodpatis in the country. If you want to be noticed by them, then for 1 week you have to spend more than 40 lakhs. And this is the same question, huh? Why? Why is it so expensive? So now coming back to social media, irrespective of what the click rate, open rate is, at least you know it is 3%. In that banner, which is 40 lakhs per week, they don't know who has seen. They don't know whether or not out of 99%, 1% has seen or 0.1% has seen, because if the traffic is too much or if the traffic is too little. In the lockdown, how many people travel through the Worli Ceiling? So then how do you even justify that 40 lakh per week expense? You cannot justify, na? You don't even know the percentage. At least in social media, you know the percentage. If you know that the click rate is 3% or 0.3%, then you can start asking the question, what else can I do? What is the next thing? Can I make a better campaign using Diwali or any other upcoming offering? Like for New Year, can I plan 2 months in advance so that my open rate increases? Or maybe I am not even targeting the right people, na? If you target 60-year-old people or 40-year-old people, and your product is PUBG or something like some gaming course, some course on how to play games better, because now I'm seeing even YouTube ads on people training how to play PUBG better, which is something I cannot process, but it is happening, and people are spending money on all these games to play them. Like, this is a game, why do you want to spend money on playing the game? But that's the same question, why people are doing it? There is numbers to prove, there is transactions to prove, and then there is a company that is training how to play the game. So that is also happening. So I'm just telling you that in social media, at least you know how many people interacted with you. Then you can start improving the interaction. That feedback mechanism is not present in traditional print and TV media. In TV media, at least you can see that, okay, Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahuti has so much TRP rating. So out of these lakh people, maybe if I show my ad in this segment, maybe 1000 will see, or maybe 500 will see. That is also again a maybe, because housewives are fully equipped. They have ninja level remote control skills. Okay, एक ad आया तो दूसरे में चले गया. अभी तो वो भी नहीं, OTT प्लेटफॉर्म में तो ad भी rare है, बहुत कम ad है. तो ad is also very less now. So then where will you show your product and offerings? That question remains unanswered, right? So at least you have an option in social media to see the feedback.
Yeah, sir, true, sir. Sir, two more questions. Darshan, please cooperate. Sir, you talked about a DMart, right? Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, in DMart, in initial case, DMart also might have not offered that much of discount as it's offering now. Because being a startup, it happens that we also require funding, right? And if we, I know they have eliminated all the middle terms, but then also they would have not. Suppose I am starting something, and with my company, there are many competitors. For example, let's consider PMC. Okay, one of the company providing the security firm. They are also providing the same thing. If I am giving discount, then I will be at loss by some percentage, right? Same thing Paytm did. Paytm also have offered many coupons, and officially they have announced that they have losses of some amount that is in million or I think so billions by offering that coupons. But being a startup, we cannot we cannot afford losses, right? For startups, how we can give a discount in such a way that we don't have a losses also, and we grow up faster.
Yeah. So see, our relationship with loss is such that we are afraid of it. Naturally, we will be. किसको खोलना पसंद है? Nobody. Don't consider losses on your business to mean that you have become a loser in the promotion of the venture. That is where you need to have a shift in your mindset. First of all, don't get into the business which requires you to give so much benefits to the customer that you cannot afford, or change your mindset. If you think you want to be in a business where giving exceptional deals to the customer is necessary, then you will have to tie up with a venture capitalist. This is the two scenarios. Okay, now venture capitalist will only suffer losses or fund you to show losses to the government to give benefits to the end user if that end user gets you 10 new customers. Customer acquisition cost should not be thought of as a loss. It should be thought of as advertisement or some other expense head that motivates you to keep finding new, keep offering that benefit to the end user. So see, what I am telling you is, business loss that you show to IT department, it can be tolerated by venture capitalists only if there is a growth in the number of end users, number of end customers. So if you give benefit to customer A and the benefit gets you customer B, C, D, E, then only venture capitalists will fund you. and the ability of a startup to keep having this cycle of new customers coming in, that is when you get venture capitalists. So now venture capitalists are also of two kinds. You know, there are venture capitalists who have so much of withholding power, courage to keep seeing this flywheel effect. This is called flywheel effect. It is introduced first by Amazon. You keep giving customers so much benefit that they become your end, your publicist. They become your word of mouth anchor. They will keep getting new people for you. That is where you need to think, okay, is my business meriting that kind of because see, once you have habituated people, now I bought so many things from Amazon outside of their sales. Amazon may have got me habituated to it by giving me sales and discounts and whatnot, but then if I want something for which I will have to spend 500 rupees petrol to go and search that item because I don't know where it is found in Thane or Mumbai. If I want a very particular 90-degree LED corner bracket with a proper covering which will diffuse, with a diffuser, if I want a aluminum 90-degree LED bracket with a diffuser, I don't know where it is sold in Thane and Mumbai. Why will I spend time to find out physically where it is available, then spend 500 rupees oil, petrol and get it? I will order it on Amazon na, even if it is getting sold to me at a premium. I don't know the price in the offline market, and I don't care also. I am not going to spend the time also. So I bought it from Amazon. So in that transaction, Amazon made money from me because there I didn't get any discount. So you have to think like this. After habituating my customer and after giving discounts to my customer to get 10 new customers, can the 11th customer, 12th customer buy from me without discount? So if your question has a merit, if this question gets enough transactions of profitable customers that are not buying from you even without discount, then you can sustain that model. Another model is you don't offer any physical goods, you offer software. In software, you have full flexibility and pricing power. You can offer discount, and at the same time, after some time, you can convert your discounted model to a monthly recurring revenue model, like that. So either change the nature of your business or find somebody who will back your loss making business until it turns profitable. Yeah, please.
Right, sir. Means
So somebody else wants to ask a question. Let's give him a chance now.
हाँ,
Yeah.
विशाल बाकी अभी भी बाकी है तो पूछ ले, फिर ज्यादा नहीं है ना, बाद में लास्ट पूछते हैं।
नहीं, ये लास्ट है खाली थोड़ा सा। Sir, you explained right. Means first we have to means give a discount so that they can be habituated, right? Sir, there is one more ad you might have seen, that Taylor wala ad. In that he asked for the girl's father that he want to marry, and he asked him that what you do. He says Taylor. Then उसके पापा बोलते हैं दर्जी. Then the advertise goes like that, professional doll, right? Means to sustain in the market we have to become professional. ठीक है. So there are many schemes like Google provides G Suite, okay, and YouTube. If we compare, use YouTube, then it looks like if we are uploading our video through YouTube, it looks like we are not professional. There is one means company known as Vimeo, something like that. I guess I have pronounced it right. So they provide video uploading platform, right? So is it good idea to go professionally for startup, means having all these things at initial level? नहीं तो फिर बाद में लोग बोलेंगे दर्जी.
हाँ, तो आप तो मेरे को आंसर भी दे दिए ना, नहीं तो बाद में लोग बोलेंगे दर्जी. तो आप समझ लो कि अगर आपको लिस्टिंग आपका कितना सीरियसली लोग आपको लेवे. बिकॉज अगर आप चाहते हो कि कोई आपको 5,000 10,000 जो भी आपका एवरेज ऑर्डर वैल्यू रहेगा वो प्राइस आपको अगर कोई ऑनलाइन देवे, तो उसके हिसाब से आपको उतना सीरियस होना पड़ेगा. क्योंकि प्रैक्टो अपने वेबसाइट में खाली बोलता है हम डॉक्टर्स का कंसल्टिंग ही कराते हैं. डॉक्टर का कंसल्टिंग 1 रुपया में नहीं होता है. मतलब समझ लो ना, अगर आपने एक बार बोल दिया कि मैं खाली यही करूँगा और ये चीज़ इसी प्राइस से चालू होता है, लेना है तो लो, तो बाकी मेरे को तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना. आज तो मैं प्रैक्टो में तो जाऊँगा नहीं कंसल्टिंग के लिए. दैट इज़ द रियलिटी। आपको जो भी देना है ना उसको लेके एकदम चोखा रहने का, अट्रैक्टिव रहने का, क्लियर रहने का, प्रोफेशनल रहने का। तो जो ग्राहक है वो तो आए, बाकी के 90% लोग, 90% लोग जो आपसे रिलेटेड नहीं है, आज उनको आपकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो नहीं आएंगे। लेकिन जो 10% है वो छूट ना जाए। उसके हिसाब से आपको जो भी ज़रूरी है, प्रोफेशनल वेब डिज़ाइनर हो जो आपका वेबसाइट को शॉर्टेस्ट टाइम में लोड करवाने के लिए आपको सपोर्ट देगा, या फिर इंस्टामो जो लिस्टिंग हो ताकि आपका पेमेंट्स क्लियर हो जाए, ये सब आपको एक एक करके क्लियर करना पड़ेगा। पूरा लूप आपको कंप्लीट करना पड़ेगा, ग्राहक का इंटरेस्ट से लेके ट्रांजैक्शन तक, और ट्रांजैक्शन के बाद रिफंड भी अगर ज़रूरत पड़ता है, आपको ऐसा लगता है।
Yeah, sir, got. And sorry, I think so I
नहीं,
had taken off.
वेलकम वेलकम, थैंक यू फॉर योर क्वेश्चंस।
That's it.
हेलो सर।
हाँ जी।
सर अगर फ्लिपकार्ट लॉस कर रहा था तो सर वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट को फिर क्या मिलेगा?
हाँ, मैंने
कैसे
आपको
लगा?
मैंने आपको वही अभी क्या कहा था कि वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट भी बहुत ही स्मार्ट लोग हैं। कोई भी ऐसे सस्टेन लॉस को टॉलरेट नहीं करता है, अनलेस इफ़ दे कंपेयर कि आज मेरे को अगर एक अमिताभ बच्चन को या फिर एक शाहरुख खान को एडवर्टाइजमेंट के लिए कितना करोड़ देना पड़ेगा, चलो ठीक है इतना करोड़ दे दूंगा, उसके बाद भी ग्राहक आएगा उसका कोई गारंटी तो है नहीं, ठीक है। सिमिलरली मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया, 40 लाख रुपया का बैनर एक हफ्ते का अगर रेंट पे लेना है सी लिंक रोड पे, मुंबई सी लिंक रोड पे, तो भी उसमें भी कितने ग्राहक ने देखा और इंटरेस्ट हुए, इम्प्रेस्ड हुए, ग्राहक में कन्वर्ट हुए, उसका भी पता चलता नहीं है। तो मैं 40 लाख पर वीक अगर एंड कस्टमर को ही फ़ायदा देते जाऊँ विद द कंसिडरेशन कि मेरा एंड कस्टमर को अगर नेक्स्ट टाइम मेरे से डिस्काउंट लेना है तो उसको ये सोशल मीडिया में फैलाना पड़ेगा। जैसे कि ओला में अगर आप चाहते थे कि आपको 50 रुपया क्रेडिट हो आपके खाते में, तो आप ओला को शेयर करो, मतलब जितना आप रेफरल दोगे उतना ओला आपको 50 रुपया क्रेडिट देगा। मतलब एंड कस्टमर को पैसा दे दो सीधा सीधा, या बेनिफिट दे दो सीधा सीधा, या डिस्काउंट दे दो। लेकिन कब? जब वो एंड कस्टमर 2 और नए कस्टमर लेके आएगा, 4 और नए कस्टमर लेके आता है, या एटलीस्ट रेफरल्स दे देता है जो लीड्स में आपके फनल में लीड बन जाएंगे। तो अगर आप लीड जनरेट नहीं कर रहे हो और आप सोशल मीडिया पे ऐड रन करते जा रहे हो तो आपको फंडिंग मिलेगा नहीं, ये भी मैं कह देता हूँ। मतलब लीड जनरेशन होना चाहिए, खाली ऐड रन हो रहा है और लीड जनरेट नहीं हो रहा है तो आपने सही बोला, फंडिंग नहीं मिलता है।
सर ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि कंपनी में अगर वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है तो सर वो अपना प्रॉफिट तो देखेगा ही ना। मतलब कंपनी भरा है नील लॉस, मतलब कुछ प्रॉफिट नहीं बता रही है, पर वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट तो अपनी एसेट को इंक्रीज हो रही है के लिए वो तो देखेगा ही ना।
हाँ, तो उसके लिए मैंने आपको, अभी तो मेरा शेयरिंग राइट्स बंद हो गया है, बट मैंने आपको शेयरिंग में एक स्लाइड दिखाया था, आप रिकॉर्डिंग में भी देख लेना, उसमें फ्लिपकार्ट का वैल्यूएशन बढ़ रहा है, ठीक है, 10x वैल्यूएशन ऐसा हो रहा है दिखाया था ना। तो जिसने $100 मिलियन डाला है और उसमें भी 10x वैल्यूएशन या 200 मिलियन डाला है और वैल्यूएशन 2 बिलियन हो गया है, नेक्स्ट राउंड में जब वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट आता है तो उसका वैल्यूएशन बढ़ जाता है, ठीक है। ये एक तरीका मैं बता रहा हूँ, जो शेयर आपके पास पड़ा है उसका वैल्यूएशन बढ़ जाता है। ओपन मार्केट में आप ये शेयर सेल नहीं कर पाओगे, लेकिन फर्दर राउंड्स ऑफ वैल्यूएशन में आपका जो इक्विटी डाइल्यूट हो रहा है उसमें आप एग्जिट भी ले सकते हो। तब जब आप एग्जिट लेते हो तो आपका रिटर्न आता है। बिजनेस लॉस मेकिंग है लेकिन शेयर प्राइस बढ़ रहा है, दोनों में फ़र्क समझना पड़ेगा। बिजनेस लॉस मेकिंग है लेकिन ग्राहक बढ़ रहे हैं, उसको देख के शेयर प्राइस बढ़ रहा है। शेयर प्राइस अपने आप से नहीं बढ़ेगा, अगर ग्राहक कम होते जा रहे हैं और शेयर प्राइस बढ़ रहा है, ऐसा मैंने रेयरली देखा है। ऐसा भी हो सकता है अगर ग्राहक कम हो रहे हैं लेकिन जितने भी ग्राहक हैं वो उतना ज़्यादा एक्सपेंसिव ट्रांजैक्शंस कर रहे हैं जिसके कारण वैल्यूएशन बढ़े, तो हो सकता है। लेकिन फ्लिपकार्ट के केस में ग्राहक भी बढ़ रहे हैं, शेयर प्राइस भी बढ़ रहा है, लेकिन ये शेयर प्राइस आपको NYSE या NSE या BSE में नहीं दिख रहा है, ये प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर्स आपस में ट्रांजैक्ट करते हैं।
सर पर वहाँ फ्लिपकार्ट के पास एसेट्स तो इतनी होती नहीं है, तो ये वैल्यूएशन कैसे?
तो प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर्स जो करते हैं उसे ग्रे मार्केट भी बोला जाता है।
हाँ, ग्रे मार्केट बोला जाता है। और जो पूछ रहे थे ना वाई एसेट होता नहीं है कर रहे, एसेट है मेरे भाई। एसेट क्या है? एसेट है कस्टमर डेटा एंड लॉजिस्टिक्स। आज की तारीख में एक दिन में फ्लिपकार्ट कितने हज़ारों लोगों के घर में सामान पहुंचा रहा है, ये कैपेबिलिटी इटसेल्फ कितने लोगों के पास है, कितने कंपनीज के पास है, हजारों ग्राहकों को सामान पहुंचाना। इसके पहले खाली इंडिया पोस्ट पत्र पहुंचाता था, लेकिन अभी फ्लिपकार्ट सामान पहुंचा रहा है और वो सामान के बदले में, जैसे मैंने कहा मेरा एग्जांपल अमेजोन में मैंने एलईडी का एक स्ट्रिप मंगाया, एलईडी का डिफ्यूज़र मंगाया, वो भी एल्यूमिनियम प्रोफाइल में 90 डिग्री कॉर्नर वाला, या ऐसे सब रेयर एंड न्यूएंस्ड थिंग्स जो स्पेसिफिक लोगों को चाहिए रहता है, ठीक है ना। अभी वो ई कॉमर्स में इजीली मेरे को मिल रहा है, ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है, मेरे घर पे आ रहा है, राइट। इस पर मेरे को कोई डिस्काउंट नहीं मिला इतना ज़्यादा। ऐसा हो सकता है कि अगर मैं 500 रुपया तेल खर्चा करके जाता तो फिर भी शायद मेरे को 100 रुपया कम में, मतलब जितना मैंने 1400 रुपया का 5 स्ट्रिप मंगाया 1 मीटर का, वो शायद मेरे को 900-800 में भी मिल सकता ऑफलाइन मार्केट में, मुझे नहीं पता। लेकिन मैंने देखा 500 रुपया तेल जला के इतना 1-2 घंटा डाल के, उससे अच्छा है भाई घर में आ जाए। कैन यू सी व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू? एवरीथिंग इज नॉट लॉस मेकिंग। आफ्टर द हैबिट इज मेड, ट्रांजैक्शंस दैट आर डन विदाउट डिस्काउंट आर प्रॉफिट।
ऐसा नहीं बोला हूँ सर, मैं ऐसा बोलूँ कि सर आपने लास्ट टाइम वैल्यूएशन में बोला था कि वैल्यू कंपनी की डिसाइड, मतलब जो वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट और वो सभी करते हैं, क्योंकि शेयर जब तक नहीं मार्केट में लिस्ट होता तब तक तो उसकी वैल्यू क्या है वो तो कुछ भी हो सकती है ना, मतलब वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट के ऊपर ही डिपेंड होती है।
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
हम कुछ नहीं कह सकते, इसलिए उस केस में सर वो कैसे मतलब डिसाइड होता है?
हाँ तो
assets भी उसके पास
मैं जो कह रहा हूँ वो उसी का ही आंसर कह रहा हूँ। वैल्यूएशन डिसाइड होता है ऑन द कस्टमर्स ट्रांजैक्शंस। आप बात को याद रखो, कस्टमर ट्रांजैक्शन बढ़ रहा है कि नहीं, डिस्काउंट के बाहर भी कस्टमर ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है कि नहीं, और डिस्काउंट के बाहर कस्टमर ट्रांजैक्शन बढ़ रहा है कि नहीं, ये सवाल है। इस सवाल का जवाब है, उसी से वैल्यूएशन डिसाइड होता है।
सर और एक चीज थी सर, जो वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट ने जिस जो इन्वेस्ट करते हैं सर, मतलब वो शेयर टाइप, सपोज जैसे तुम $200 मिलियन इन्वेस्ट कर दिए, तो उतनी इक्विटी कैसे कंपनी में डिसाइड करते हैं अगर शेयर लिस्टेड नहीं है तो कंपनी के?
हाँ हाँ, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। ये भी इट्स अबाउट नेगोशिएशन डाउन टू द यूनिकनेस ऑफ योर कंपनी एंड इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द वेंचर कैपिटल एंड कंपीटिंग वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट। इसमें भी कंपटीशन है। एक ही बिजनेस में कितने वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट एक साथ आएंगे उसके ऊपर डिसाइड होएगा। तो इसका भी कोई क्लियर आंसर नहीं होता है, सब कुछ पर्सनल नेगोशिएशन के ऊपर ही होता है। बट एक बात है, ट्रांजैक्ट करने वाले कस्टमर्स बढ़ रहे कि नहीं, इतना नहीं रहेगा तो रेयरली इन्वेस्टमेंट होता है आजकल।
सर तो फ्लिपकार्ट ने जब वॉलमार्ट को सेल किया होगा तो उसमें स्टेक्स कैसे डिसाइड किए होंगे?
हाँ, मैं आपको वही कह रहा हूँ कि इसमें वॉलमार्ट आ रहा है, अभी उसने जितना पैसा डाला, वॉलमार्ट के सामने कौन लोग थे? अमेजोन था और गूगल था। ये 3 लोग ही थे जिनके पास फ्लिपकार्ट खरीदने का फायर पावर या मनी पावर जो भी कहो था। वॉलमार्ट को पता है कि मैं बूढ़ा कंपनी हूँ, मतलब मैं ज़्यादातर खाली रिटेल स्पेस में हूँ या ब्रिक एंड मोर्टर स्पेस में हूँ। मेरे को अगर ये ई कॉमर्स वाले ऑनलाइन वाले दुनिया में ज़्यादा स्किल सेट का ज़रूरत है तो मेरे को ज़्यादा पैसा देना पड़ेगा ना। ये तो नीलामी चल रही है, ऑक्शन चल रहा है। गूगल तो ऑलरेडी ऑनलाइन स्पेस में है, इनफैक्ट गूगल इज़ अ बिग बॉस। सबको अगर गूगल एड्स चाहिए तो गूगल के पास आना पड़ता है, सर्च इंजन एड्स के लिए, यूट्यूब एड्स के लिए। तो गूगल तो ऑनलाइन स्पेस में है, और अमेजोन भी ऑनलाइन स्पेस में बिग प्लेयर है। किसी को भी अगर अमेजोन से ऑनलाइन खरीदना है अमेरिका में, मतलब अमेजोन में पहले सर्च करेगा, फिर उसके बाद दूसरा 2-3 जगह पे जाएगा। हैबिट ही हो गया ना अभी।
सर ये जो इक्विटी वाला जो डिसाइड जैसे बोला दर्शन ने, वो सर फेस वैल्यू के ऊपर भी होता है ना? फेस वैल्यू के ऊपर से डिसाइड किया जाता है कितना क्या है?
देखो, फेस वैल्यू टर्म यूज़ होता है ना, वो इक्विटी का फेस वैल्यू और उसका शेयर प्राइस के बीच का डिफरेंस बताने के लिए। फेस वैल्यू 10 रुपीज़, फेस वैल्यू 1 रुपीज़, फेस वैल्यू के ऊपर से डिसाइड होता है। मैंने कभी सुना नहीं है, मैं आपको बार बार एक ही चीज़ कह रहा हूँ कि आपका ट्रांजैक्शंस जो है वो कितना बढ़ रहा है। मेन थिंग इज़ ट्रांजैक्शंस ट्रांजैक्शंस ट्रांजैक्शंस। अभी उसमें ट्रांजैक्शन अगर डायरेक्टली रुपी टर्म्स, डॉलर टर्म्स या करेंसी टर्म्स में नहीं हो रहा है तो फिर लोग डाउनलोड्स देखते हैं। डाउनलोड्स देख के भी नहीं हो रहा है तो फिर लोग ट्रैक्शन के लिए कुछ और देखते हैं। मतलब क्या है कि आपने ग्राहक को आपकी आदत डलवाई है कि नहीं, ये सवाल का जवाब देखते हैं, और वो आदत डालने वाले लोगों की संख्या बढ़ रही है कि नहीं, ये मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट है। बाकी सब इन्वेस्टिंग टर्म्स उसके बाद आते रहेंगे।
हेलो सर, सर जैसे वॉलमार्ट ने 1,07,000 1000 करोड़ का फ्लिपकार्ट को खरीदा था, तो सर जो मनी ऑफर हुई थी वो उसमें से वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट किस हिसाब से मतलब डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होते हैं, ऐसा पूछ रहा हूँ मैं।
हाँ, ये एक्चुअली ना आपका सब सवाल मैं समझ गया कहाँ से आ रहा है, कि आप समझने को देख रहे हो कि क्यों हो रहा है ना, तो मैं भी आपको
हाँ,
वही बता रहा हूँ कि ये जो क्यों
ये
का
जो वैल्यू
जवाब
है,
है, हाँ, ये जो वैल्यू है अपने को देख के लगता है कि ये रियल कैसे है, मतलब वाई इज इट सो, मतलब ऐसा कुछ इतना फिजिकल तो दिखता नहीं है इसमें, इंटेंजिबल में ही इतना वैल्यू क्यों है। तो बट मैं भी आपको यही बता रहा हूँ कि फ्लिपकार्ट का जो सबसे बड़ा एसेट है वो है उसका इंक्रीजिंग कस्टमर बेस विच इज डूइंग ट्रांजैक्शंस, नॉट ऐप डाउनलोड्स, नॉट ट्रैक्शन बट ट्रांजैक्शन। सो वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट का सबसे बड़ा मेट्रिक इज ट्रांजैक्शन, फिर उसके बाद है ऐप डाउनलोड, फिर उसके बाद है अदर फॉर्म्स ऑफ ट्रैक्शन। दिस इज हाउ पीपल in the investing community will see whether your offering has a scope or not. Now you are asking me कि हाँ अभी इतना जो पैसा आया उसमें से वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट को कितना एग्जिट मिला कि नहीं मिला, इसके ऊपर सब कुछ जो है ना वो ओपन मार्केट में बताते नहीं है लोग जल्दी से, क्योंकि क्या है कि आधा से ज़्यादा टाइम जब कोई बड़ा कंपनी एक बड़ा 100 मिलियन या बिलियन डॉलर का एक्विजिशन करता है तो फ्लिपकार्ट को वॉलमार्ट का NYSE का लिस्टेड शेयर्स ज़्यादा मिला रहेगा, पूरा रोकड़ा नहीं मिलता है। 60% हो कि 50% ऑफ दैट ह्यूज अमाउंट इज एक्चुअली शेयर ट्रांसफर टू द प्रोमोटर्स, टू द अर्लियर इन्वेस्टर्स। तो आज अगर वॉलमार्ट का शेयर $500, $1000, $1500 जो भी डॉलर चल रहा है NYSE में, वो 2 साल पहले जब डील हुआ था तो उतना डॉलर का शेयर आया है उनके हाथ में वॉलमार्ट का, एंड उसके ऊपर जो कैश आता है वो कैश पूरी फ्लिपकार्ट के खाते में जाता है। इन्वेस्टर लोग रेयरली वो कैश उठा पाते हैं, ये तो कॉमन ट्रेंड ही है। कोई भी इन्वेस्टर प्रीवियस राउंड के स्टेक को कैश देख के रेयरली खरीदता है, मतलब ये एग्जिट मिलना है, मतलब आपको IPO तक वेट करना है, ये सबसे कॉमन एग्जिट स्ट्रेटेजी है। इनिशियल पब्लिक ऑफरिंग में जाने के बाद लोग जो रिटेल कस्टमर्स हैं वो जो शेयर खरीदते हैं उनको जो शेयर सेल करने के बाद जो पैसा जनरेट होता है वही इन्वेस्टर को मिलता है मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम। अदरवाइज आपको पब्लिकली लिस्टेड कोई कंपनी है जैसे वॉलमार्ट या गूगल या अमेजोन, इनका शेयर मिलता है जो आप बाद में जाके सेल करो।
सर एक चीज पूछनी थी कि सर जैसे ये फ्लिपकार्ट के अलग अलग इनिशियल स्टेजेस में फंडिंग हुई जैसे $2 बिलियन और वो सब हुए, तो प्रमोटर्स जो मतलब जो इनिशियल जिन्हें फाउंड किया था उनके पास उतने पैसे थे नहीं, तो वो कंडीशंस पे स्टेक डिसाइड करते कि कितना उनका होल्डिंग होगी कंपनी क्या?
हाँ, तो जो मेन कंडीशन वही रहता है कि आपने अपना कंपनी में कितना इन्वेस्ट खुद किया है, अपना खुद का पैसा कितना लगाया है, और उस पैसे से आपने कितना ग्रोथ दिखाया है इन दी नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड एंड यूजर्स। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट यही रहता है कि आपका ग्राहक कितना बढ़ रहा है, और वो ग्राहक खाली बढ़ रहा है ऑन पेपर कि एक्चुअली आपके साथ फाइनेंशियल व्यवहार कर रहा है। जितना फाइनेंशियल व्यवहार नए नए लोग कर रहे हैं उतना आपका मान्यता है, बस इतना ही है। सब कुछ का बार बार एक ही आंसर आ रहा है क्योंकि एक्चुअल में सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ यही है। सीड स्टेज से वेंचर कैपिटल का ए राउंड से बी राउंड से सी राउंड से डी राउंड, हर राउंड में एक ही कॉमन मैट्रिक तो रहता ही है। लेकिन मैं कह रहा हूं कि आपका एक स्टेटमेंट कह रहा हूं कि बार बार कि आपका जो नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्टिंग कस्टमर्स है कितना बढ़ रहा है, लेकिन उसके पीछे देखो कितना कुछ खड़ा करना पड़ता है। पहले फ्लिपकार्ट खाली 4 या 5 मेट्रो में एक्टिव था, अभी फ्लिपकार्ट और अमेजोन से आप लुधियाना में भी सामान मंगा सकते हो। मतलब क्या, इसके पीछे का पूरा लॉजिस्टिक्स खड़ा करना पड़ता है, इसके पीछे का पूरा वेयर हाउसिंग और उसके पीछे एसोसिएटेड मैन पावर को ट्रैक करना पड़ता है, फिर रिटर्न प्रोसेसिंग करना पड़ता है, फिर ये जो लॉजिस्टिक्स और वेयर हाउस में जो ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं वो लोग चोरी ना करें, उसके लिए आपको बार बार हर एक जगह पे सेटअप करना पड़ेगा अकाउंटेबिलिटी सिस्टम कि भाई ये जगह पे मैंने खोल तो दिया, लेकिन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम के बियॉन्ड मेरा खुद का क्या इन्फोर्समेंट है, मेरा खुद का क्या चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस है। ये सब सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेसेस के लिए वैल्यूएशन है। एंड गोल तो एक ही है कि आपका एंड कस्टमर बढ़ रहा है और वो व्यवहार आपसे फाइनेंशियली कर रहा है कि नहीं, लेकिन उसके पीछे जो आपको करना पड़ता है मेहनत ऑन ग्राउंड, ऑन लॉजिस्टिक्स लेवल, ये सब बदलते रहेगा। जो आपने अमृतसर में किया है या वो चंडीगढ़ में किया है और उसका डिफरेंस गुजरात में अलग रहेगा, सब सेम टू सेम नहीं रहता है। सिमिलरली अगर फ्लिपकार्ट पेमेंट्स का आपने एक कुछ बनाया है, उसको अभी आप बैंक्स के साथ टाइप कर रहे हो, तो पहले 4 प्राइवेट बैंक थे, अभी उसके बाद 10 नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक्स को भी इन्वॉल्व करने के लिए आपको कुछ और करना पड़ेगा। ऐसा है ना कि हर कस्टमर 4 प्राइवेट बैंक में तो नहीं रहेगा, बाकी 15-20 नेशनलाइज बैंक्स में भी रहेंगे। अभी समझ लो नेशनलाइज बैंक्स का भी कॉन्ग्लोमरेशन होके 15-20 से कम होके 6-7 बड़े बड़े बैंक्स बचे हैं, तो वो 6-7 बैंक्स का भी कस्टमर, मतलब उनका जो भी फाइनेंशियल आईटी टीम्स है उनके साथ आपका पेमेंट को इंटीग्रेट करना है ना। चलो फिर ठीक है,
Okay.
अभी ऐसा लग रहा है टाइम हो गया है।
Yes, sir.
हाँ
या सो
Okay.
आई थिंक इफ देर आर फर्दर क्वेरीज तो आप गूगल क्लासरूम में डाल दीजिए एंड विल आस्क आकाश सर एंड अदर एक्सपर्ट। बट आई थिंक दैट वाज अ वेरी गुड डिस्कशंस एंड आई थिंक बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस जो है वो आंसर हुए हैं। एंड दर्शिल, जो आप बार बार पूछ रहे थे वैल्यूएशन या कैसे वो डिसाइड होता है, नॉर्मली इक्विटी स्टेक्स का एक रेंज रहता है बेस्ड ऑन द इन्वेस्टमेंट, कि भाई इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना कर रहा है और वो क्यों कर रहा है। मैं आपको क्यों 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़ 10 करोड़ दूंगा? अगर आप में कोई दम है, आपके पास कस्टमर है, आपके पास ऐसा टेक्नोलॉजी है, प्रोडक्ट है, आपका नेटवर्क ऐसा है, तो मैं दूंगा। एंड देन आई सी रिस्क कि मैं 1 साल तक उसको आपके अंदर, कंपनी के अंदर रोक के रखता हूँ, 1 साल के बाद 2 साल के बाद ही मुझे रिटर्न मिलने वाला है। सो ऑल दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट, जैसे बताया था लास्ट टाइम भी कि प्रोसेस होता है कि एक बार मैंने अनाउंस किया, आपका पिच देख के उसके 6 महीने बाद आपके खाते में पैसे आएंगे। 10 करोड़ में से 1 करोड़ आएगा या 50 लाख आएंगे, सीधा नहीं आएगा, दूसरे दिन नहीं आ जाएगा, राइट। सो यू कैन नॉट, एज अ स्टार्टअप ऑल्सो यू कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट कि मुझे जो फंडिंग राउंड मिला है या जो पैसा मिलेगा वो सीधा दूसरे दिन आ जाएगा। सो आपके सारे प्रोसेसेस या आपके सारे ऑपरेशन उसी हिसाब से प्लान होते हैं। व्हेन यू गो फॉर द फंडिंग, आप ये सारी चीजें भी ध्यान में रखते हो कि एज अ स्टार्टअप मैं कितना इक्विटी डाइल्यूट कर सकता हूँ। सो वो डिसाइड होता है, नेगोशिएट होता है। ऐसा कोई रूल नहीं है कि 10 करोड़ दिया मतलब 5 करोड़ इक्विटी देना है, अगर 20 करोड़ दिया तो 10% इक्विटी देना है, ऐसा कोई रूल नहीं रहता है। कभी कभी 10 करोड़ में भी आपने 1% ही इक्विटी दिया है और कभी कभी 1 करोड़ में आपने 10% इक्विटी दिया है, बेस्ड ऑन दी नेगोशिएशन एंड बेस्ड ऑन द कंडीशंस, राइट। सो वो सारी चीजें केस टू केस होती है। बट कॉमनली आपको ये समझना है कि जितना एज अ स्टार्टअप, क्योंकि हम लोग अभी स्टार्टअप की बात कर रहे हैं, वी ऑल आर स्टार्टअप एक्सेप्ट आकाशदीप सर की जो इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, एंजल इन्वेस्टर है। सो एज अ स्टार्टअप हमें ये देखना है कि हमारा पलड़ा कहाँ भारी हो रहा है, राइट, ताकि हम जितना हो सके अपने पलड़े को भारी रख पाए इन्वेस्टर्स के सामने, और हमारा इतना इक्विटी या जो भी हम शेयर या होल्डिंग्स दे रहे हैं उसको, या मे बी नेगोशिएशन पावर दे रहे हैं उनको, बोर्ड ऑफ एडवाइजर में ले रहे हैं तो उनका नेगोशिएशन पावर भी रहेगा। जो हम मैनेजमेंट जो डिसीजन लेंगे उसमें उनका पावर रहेगा। सो वो कितना हम कम दे सकते हैं वो हमारा एक पावर होना चाहिए, वो हमें डिसाइड करना है, वो हमें प्रिपेयर करना है हमारे स्टार्टअप के लिए, और उसके बेस पे फिर वो नेगोशिएशन होगा। सो देयर इज नो फिक्स रूल। हाँ, रेंज होता है कि 5 to 10% या 2 to 3%, 2 to 5% इक्विटी, इतने अगर आपका वैल्यूएशन है और इतना अगर फंडिंग मिल रहा है तो इतने में 2 to 5% इक्विटी हम दे सकते हैं, राइट। सो वो नॉर्मल जो प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, कॉमन प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, उसके बेस पे आप डिसाइड कर सकते हो। बट देयर इज नो अगेन फिक्स रूल कि इतना ही होता है, right? So I think, I hope everything is more clear through this discussion, and still you can ask your query or your questions on the Google Classroom. So आप Google Classroom पे आपका query जो है वो raise करिए, and I'll share with the Akashdeep sir and other expert and get the answers for that. So yeah, so we'll see you in the tomorrow's class
yeah,
at 10. And tomorrow we are going to discuss further in this digital marketing and other space. So I hope that everyone will join by 8:10 tomorrow, because tomorrow will be only 50 minutes of the class. Yeah. So चलिए मिलते हैं कल, and take care everyone.
सर सेशन
And
स्टार्ट रखना क्योंकि यही लेक्चर है हमारा।
अच्छा, sure, okay. So and happy शरद पूर्णिमा to all. चलिए दूध पोहे खाइए और कल मिलते हैं। Yeah. Okay, bye, take care.
bye.